Hi, this is Ruth Theresa with One Inspiring Woman, and today I'm going to give you a little bit of a talk. It's one of those, I was talking to a client earlier today, and we were going over some things that she really wanted to bring into her life. And I just thought it was really interesting that it came up to her, and I asked her if I could do this video on it because I really wanted to explain it to other people as well. She was kind of choosing to stay in the fear of failure instead over trying something new or getting into something new or different. And I just thought it was really interesting because it's not just talking to her or about her, it's about talking to people that are similar to that. People get in the mode of, I'm saying, having like a fear of success, like if I earn more money, people are going to expect more things out of me, or I'm going to do, something's going to change. But sometimes people have this fear of like falling on their face or not doing well. And I think it's a really interesting concept because really no one has ever learned anything by doing it right the first time. Let that one sink in a little bit. It's one of those, if you have never failed, you have never had to pick yourself up and keep going. So the first time you walked, you may not remember that, but you probably fell down a lot. Probably hurt yourself, falling on your bottoms, falling on your side, falling on your face, falling on your back, hitting your head, all of those things. And because you went through that, you learned how to do it correctly. The same thing with riding a bike. No one I know ever got on the bike the first time they tried it and went off without a hitch. Never fell over, never scratched up their body or fell on their knees or whatever it is. No one ever succeeds without failure first. That's what teaches us. When we do things wrong, we learn how to make them right. I've heard this from many clients, not only the one today, but many clients that are telling me like, my daughter's about to get married and I want her to have a perfect life. It sounds lovely, but the thing is, though, is when her and her husband struggle together, they're going to make that marriage stronger. They're going to make that marriage invincible because they're doing it together. So that's one of the things I think is really important for people to understand. Success is great, and when you do things and they work out, that's amazing. That's awesome. But I guarantee you, there are events before that and even after that or during that things didn't go well. Things didn't work out the way you wanted them to, or you thought this was the right way to do it. You thought working or partnership with this company was going to do well, and then all of a sudden they take all your money or they take whatever it is. Because you failed, you'll learn how to do it better next time or learn what you won't put up with next time. But we even do that in relationships. When we start a new relationship with someone else, we're teaching them from that moment forward what we will and will not put up with. And if they do something that we don't like, we have a new choice. Now we can choose to stay and correct it, or we can turn around and walk out of the relationship. So it really does depend on you. But when that failure comes, when that relationship doesn't work out for whatever reason, and I don't mean small things, I mean big things. When I was dealing with a client a couple of weeks ago, and her brand new boyfriend that she's only known a couple of weeks, 2 or 3 or 4 weeks, something like that, yelled at her about something. And I was like, now is your opportunity to make a new choice. And she was like, well, he was really mad and he was really upset. I understand, but you're also making excuses for him. You're not even allowing him to make excuses for himself. You're making them for him. You're putting the words in his mouth that he doesn't have to worry about it. So we talked about it and chatted about it. And after a long deliberation, she went home, had a great conversation with him, and he explained things and they were able to work things out. But I said, every time there's a failure, every time something doesn't go right, you absolutely have an amazing time to make corrections, to make things work out the way that they should or they could. It's one of those, when something fails, you learn how to fix it. And one of my favorite quotes from Mary Kay Ash is, "You fail forward into success." And it's so true. So many times when we try something and it doesn't work, or we have habits that don't support us in what we're about to do, when we decide, like, that's not a healthy habit. I'm not going to stay up all night watching TV, or, binge watching some show because it makes me have a bad day the next day. I've chosen to make something different. I had a failure. I didn't do things correctly, and now I have an opportunity to make things right. So when you make a mistake, you get this amazing opportunity to make things right. That's the bottom line. So, what are you choosing to step into? Even if you have a fear of failure about it, what are you now choosing to step into, or stepping into your own power to say, I'm not putting up with this anymore, or I'm not going to do this anymore? And this could be in work or business, relationships, family members, long-term relationship, partnerships. All of that is really important to understand, that when we make a stand, when we tell someone else we're not willing to do this any longer, and we make new choices, the only way they can react to it is they can make new choices. So many times I hear clients tell me, like, I want my husband to treat me nicer. I want my husband to take me on trips more often, or whatever it is. And I want him to change, or I don't like that he smokes cigarettes, or I don't like that he does this, whatever it is. And so I'm like, but you're asking him, basically, you're, with your energy, you're telling him to change, but you haven't told him why, about it is bothering you. So step up in your own power and make this change. That is the best thing that you can do to make changes in your own life and in other people's. Because if you change you, the other person only has one option. They have an option to change. They totally have an option to change. They can choose to change their energy, or they can choose to walk out of the relationship. Either way, they're choosing to change. But the change starts with you. You're the one who has to change. And a lot of times people are willing to put up with it because they're a fear of failure in this department. They're afraid that their partner is going to walk out, and they're not going to be married anymore. They're not going to have a boyfriend anymore. They're not going to have a girlfriend anymore. And they keep putting up with this fear of failure and keep going. I'd rather be in a relationship than be in a great relationship. I'd rather be in any relationship. Even if I'm being treated badly, I'd rather be in that relationship than anything else. And that really puts not only you, but your friends and your family around you in a really tight situation. So choosing to change how you react to other people can change everything in your world. Everything in your world can change in a moment's notice. And that is the really cool, fun part about this, is what are you choosing to change in your life? What are you choosing to step into the fear of failure and walk past it? So many times people are afraid of failure, and it's one of those, we fail forward to success. We fail and we learn and we pick ourselves up, and we choose to do things differently, or to read all the contract before we sign it, or whatever it is, or decide ahead of time, like, maybe this relationship isn't what I really wanted. Maybe this relationship isn't one that's honoring me or supporting me. And I can leave, because it's not a fear of failure I'm dealing with. I'm choosing or making new choices for myself. So just a couple of words of wisdom, I hope, and I thank you so much for joining me today, and I hope to see you again soon.